Motorola is reinventing itself in 2017, and it can't do that with just the Moto G line. It has to use the top-end Moto Z line as well, and it's anchoring it with the Moto Z2 Force. So the Moto Z2 Force is the absolute top of the line for Motorola, and you see that right from the start with the pricing. It's about $750 to $800 depending on where you get it, but you also start to notice that right when you pick it up. Of course, it's got that iconic Moto design, front and back, but this is also set up to be kind of durable in a way. It's got this metal back, 7000 series aluminum around the sides, and a shatter shield display. So that's a 5.5 inch display on the front, and it's actually covered to not shatter or break from drops or accidental damage even, and it's covered for 4 years from Motorola, and that's really great. And you notice that flat back around the back. Now, that's not normally gonna look like this because you're gonna be popping on all of these Moto Mods. This is the brand new Moto 360 camera, which that big camera sticking out there, but you also have like a power pack style shells or Qi wireless charging shells, all that kind of stuff as well. So you're not really going to be using it naked like this because if you notice, it's just 6 millimeters thick. So you're not really going to be handling this like that. The downside of that 6 millimeter thickness is that Motorola decided to drop the battery capacity. We're looking at only 2730 milliamp hour inside. That's down from 3500 in last year's Moto Z Force. And it's actually smaller than the Moto Z2 Play, the lower end model that's only about $450. We'll have to see how that pairs with the Snapdragon 835 and 4 gigabytes of RAM inside. With those specs though, you can expect it to push around Motorola's software as fast as you can push it. Super smooth, super quick, easy to get around, and if you've used a Motorola phone in the last year or two, you're gonna be really familiar with this. You have all of the Moto actions, but everything beyond that is really basically stock Android. There are a couple customized apps. You see we have the Verizon model here. It's also got a couple customized apps as well. But this is really clean and fast, and Motorola adds in some nice tricks as well. Like of course, you can double twist the phone to launch the camera. And that's the last big part of the Moto Z2 Force. So this is the dual camera on the back, dual 12 megapixel cameras. And instead of going with a different focal length on the two cameras, like some manufacturers have, like LG for example, you get two 12 megapixel sensors that have the same focal length, but you get one black and white and one color. So you can actually just switch to the black and white with one press of a button, and now you're taking a true black and white photo, so you get really deep blacks in that whole range of grays rather than post-processing it to get the blacks and whites later. But when you're in regular mode, you can also take photos that take advantage of both of the cameras at one time, so you kind of get almost like an HDR effect when you can use multiple shots at the exact same time rather than layering exposures. We still need to play with the camera to see how it all turns out. Motorola has a bit of a checkered history with cameras, we should say, but it's very interesting to see them go with a dual camera setup, and it should give us some really good results. And around front, we have a 5 megapixel camera that you can switch to, and the interesting thing here, it kind of has this standard for Motorola, but not standard for the industry, a dual tone front-facing flash. So rather than lighting up the screen for a flash, it uses the little dual tone flash, so you actually get a proper skin tone or something closer to a proper skin tone rather than getting this really unnatural light from a bright white AMOLED screen. The Moto Z2 Force has a lot to live up to because not only is it replacing the Moto Z Force from last year, but it's also kind of replacing the Moto Z as well. So it's trying to split this difference between being rugged and have long battery life, but also be thin and light and appeal to a lot of people. And at $750 to $800, it's going to be pretty tough to do that. We'll have to see in our full review how it stands up and how the experience of the Moto Mods also adds to that. At $750, the Moto Z2 Force is going to face some really tough competition from the 2017 flagships that have shown well earlier this year. To see how the Moto Z2 Force holds up in a full review, and for all of our coverage of the device, be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube and follow all the coverage at AndroidCentral.com.